Santiago Leon. He's the president of Sleon Productions. And without further ado, let's bring Santiago on. Hey, good afternoon, Santiago. How are you?
Sebastien Boyer, doing fantastic. Love your presentation. Very enlightening. As many people don't know, Sebastian and I went to church together. We're both Christians. We love Jesus, and it's great to see implementation of biblical principles in business. It goes hand in hand.
Amen. Thank you for joining today. And just to launch it, if you could just tell the audience a little bit about yourself, your background, and your business.
Yeah. So I started my business in web development back in 2009, about 14 years ago this month, actually. I graduated college during a recession. So it was tough to find a job back then. It was really challenging. So I decided, hey, let me start a business. My dad had his own business. My grandparents had their own business, and they always apply these business principles to me when I was young, and I had no idea that I was going to start a business. I thought I would go to law school, be a lawyer, and just go from there. But I started doing web development. I had my first client was with a colleague of mine, a student, and we went from there. And then, of course, I had one of my professors be my mentor, and all that. So ever since then, I've been growing my business in different services, web development, app development, and a little bit of Google marketing and Facebook marketing. Also do some like audio and video services. So I kind of help out clients like this, doing productions and streaming, and where everything's going so much social media these days.
Right.
So, people want to have a show or they want to have more presence. This is one of the avenues. But yeah, really blessed, and I cannot be more grateful. And I really thank God every day for this. And yeah, 14 years strong and running.
Awesome. So, where are your nations local to your community or nationwide? Like, who can you serve?
Yeah, well, I work mostly with local businesses, but I have clients all over the country in the U.S. I've had a few internationally in the past, but I mostly focus here locally, and of course, nationally. I got clients in Florida, I got clients in Texas, Georgia, Virginia, New York, and it's been a huge blessing for that. And obviously, with the internet, you can expand your horizons a lot more.
Sure.
Now people can find you online anywhere. Hey, I need you to do a website for me, or I need you to do a project for me. And it's really a huge blessing because, think about it. 20, 30 years ago, it was totally different. You had to go, stay local, get a newspaper ad, but now people can find you anywhere in the world.
Yeah, uh, that's awesome, man. So, would you say that you truly love the work that you do?
Oh yeah. I always remember when my mom always tells everyone when I was about 4 years old or a toddler, I would just know how to turn on things like a computer or like or like any type of electronic device. So I've always had a passion for like technology
Hmm.
in general. I grew up with my uncle, and he got me into computers and IT stuff, and I would see him fix computers, installing Microsoft Word, Microsoft Windows, and things like that. And I would help out my dad at his office with his computers as well. Now that I remember, and then when I went to elementary, I would take these computer typing classes, and that was like a another start as well. I was very proficient with keyboards. I think I would type 60, 80 words per minute. And then in middle school, I would also take computer classes as well. But then high school, I got more into coding, and I was just when I was picking my classes for high school, I noticed a computer programming class. I was like, man, this might be the way of the future. I didn't think much, like really dip into it, but just let me just take it. And the first couple of weeks was tough. I thought this is not for me, not for me. But then I got into like the hang of things. I would study harder. I would practice, and I would do a lot of repetition, learning about loops, functions, and things like that. So that was a starter plate for me right then.
Hmm.
Then when it came to college, I always thought back then my mentality was, well, to be successful, you got to be like a lawyer or a doctor. And I didn't know anything about computer programming. I didn't know they existed. I didn't know that you can make as much money. So in college, I majored in communications, and there was one class that I took. It was with Dr. Sova, and he had us open up a blogger.com blog, which is now owned by Google. And you would be able to customize your blog with the colors you want, the images. You go into the code, the HTML and CSS. So that was another step forward for me into coding. And then after that, I started getting into more coding, and then I got into MySpace. MySpace, you were also was open source, so you're able to customize things. I was like having fun with it, adding colors, background images, you name it. And then I went to I graduated, which I graduated from Liberty University for my bachelor's, and then I went to Regent University for my master's, and I went to the next level. I had a class with a professor that knew about coding a lot as well. He, which now he is my mentor, and we got more deep into coding and learning how to build websites from scratch, and just getting very acclimated with the code. And then towards the end of my master's, I got into WordPress, which WordPress just came out not too long from then. And I got more into that CMS, content management system, and I always liked it. It was problem solving for me. So I always tell people coding is like poetry for me. It's not for everyone. I realize that. Hey, people pay me a lot of money just to solve some simple issues or some complex issues, and I just like computers. I really do, and also coding and developing. I have my side projects that I do for myself. I love coding. Coding's like poetry, and I do a lot of side gigs on myself. For myself. Like 2 weeks ago, I had an app that I was developing that I had been thinking about for the past year, and I finished it in like one day.
Hmm.
So it's something that I like, is problem solving. And obviously, even being in this business for 14 years, I really have a lot more to go learning wise. There's a lot of new technologies now with Chat GPT. That's a whole different frontier that I need to dabble with, but I've been using it a lot. I like it, what I see, but there's still a long way to go.
Amazing. So what I hear from you and your story and your journey is, you basically found something that you love, that you are good at, right? And you got to a crossroads in life where the world was telling you, do this. This is going to make you money. Become an attorney. Go that way because that's where the money is. But what you did is you listened to, were you saved at that point? Did you have a relationship with God at that point in your life?
Yeah. Yeah. So I've been saved since I was a child. I grew up in a Christian home. My parents would take me to church every weekend, and I didn't really go against it. I thought it was a good thing. But I found the Lord when I was very young as a kid. Obviously, you go your ups and downs. But I do think that God had a hand in this for sure. I coded this one app called Insta Bible, my first app that I
Say it again
created
so
about
everybody can hear that. So everybody check this out. If you're watching, he Santiago developed an a app called Insta Bible.
BibleApp.com, which is a Bible app that you're able to put verses on images. And I was the first to create that. Then your version came along and did that as well with their app. So I did that about in 2013, 12, and 13, and that's where I got into app development. So I felt like, if I had to create an app, I got to do it for the Lord. And
Amen.
I just did it's the Bible app, and 13 years strong. So
Now you also have a podcast right now, right? Or a show, a YouTube channel?
yeah, so I have two podcasts. My first podcast was a technology podcast, which is for my company, Sleon Productions Podcast, where I interview clients, but not necessarily just clients. I also interview tech business startups, authors, speakers. I've interviewed you this year. And I have another podcast called the Sportscast, and we talk about sports from the NBA, NFL, soccer. So I've been doing that for the past 5 years, and that podcast project's been interesting for me because because I never seen so many people so involved with this project. I have about like 8 to 10 people that work with the Sportscast. They have their own shows. They write for the site. They tweet or the X post, whatever you want to call it now. And it's been going strong. Really surprised how sports can bring people in. And for the podcast, what I do is something similar to this. I stream it. We stream it and record it. So it streams to Twitter, to YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. And after that stream is done, I rip the audio from the recording and upload it as a podcast. So it's kind of repurposed type of content. And then I cut clips from that podcast and place it on Instagram because a lot of people like short form content. So I post it on there. And sometimes I create blog posts from those podcasts. So I kind of repurpose a lot. But yeah, I have two podcasts. Which I have a background with that actually because I worked at a radio station in college, so I learned a lot about audio levels, audio recording, audio broadcasting, and the video part came on my end. I didn't learn that from a class, so I learned I put those two together. And I always say the most important thing when you record a video or anything is the audio. You gotta have a good mic, good quality so people can listen to it.
Awesome. Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much for joining today.
This is Santiago Leon. I am the founder and president of Sleon Productions. We do web development, app development, audio production, and video production. If your company is not online, not digital, we can help you do that. We can help you put your face out there. So it could be as a simple one-page website, or we can put you on Google and social media to have a presence, because the key thing right now is presence, and you get more business. There's a lot of eyeballs on mobile devices, on computers, and that is the best way to market yourself. You can contact us at sleonproductions.com for any information. Please contact us there.